OMT Online Dynasty, we are back here for week 3, and it is time once again for our game of the week. This time featuring, I believe, our first ever ranked versus ranked user matchup. How could we go anywhere else? On one side, we'll have number 21, coached by our guys Zoned, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles. We saw them win their Conference USA championship game last year. On the other, they will be traveling to Harrisonburg, Virginia, the James Madison Dukes, 11-1 last season. I'm still not entirely sure how we did it, but we knocked them off in the American title game. They knocked us off in the regular season. We are 1-1 against James Madison, our guys Supersonic. We know that is going to be a very, very difficult team throughout the entire year. And really the same can be said for both of these guys. I am super excited for this matchup. Now, let's go ahead and check out the depth charts of both of these teams, see who they'll be working with. Southern Miss has played 3 games, James Madison has played 2, so still probably not enough data to really look at the season stats, but we will look at them quickly after we go over the depth charts. We'll start with the visiting team, Southern Mississippi. Said 3-0 start, ranked number 21. You can't even really see that right now because my face is in the way, but bang, there you go, number 21, right next to their little logo there. And they will be led by quarterback Kamario Taylor, redshirt freshman that already has Magician, Option King, Sidestep, and Workhorse. Now, if I remember right, in that conference title game, we went into that expecting a lot of QB runs from Southern Miss, so having a quarterback like this that is a pure runner definitely makes sense. Definitely something we are still going to have to keep in mind when we get into that game, that he will be willing to take off with this quarterback. At halfback, we have the returning Robert Briggs, 87 overall, 90 speed, 91 excel, recoup, sidestep, and 360. Obviously, he's going to be a good running threat, but he's also a threat out of the backfield. In backup, but there is Darian Dupree, recoup, sidestep, 360, another 91 speed. Really good backfield here for Southern Miss. Probably going to be one of our main focuses, but there is one more threat we are going to have to keep in mind when trying to defend this Golden Eagles team, and that is wide receiver Jalen Mbakwe. How in the world did he end up transferring to Southern Miss? I don't know, but look at these wide receivers. 91 overall, 89 speed, 6'2", Hakeem Williams with platinum 50-50. Just chuck it up to him, he's probably going to catch it. 93 speed, 90 overall, Tyshawn Chapman. He was on the team last year, we remember him. 360 cutter, double dip, and sidestep. And then you get Mbakwe, 90 overall, 97 speed. Unbelievable offense here from Southern Miss. You got to kind of be worried about everything, from the quarterback running to their solid halfbacks to these 3 wide receivers. I will say at least Williams doesn't have the speed, so we don't have to worry about that a whole heck of a lot. But a 93 and a 97 speed on this offense is going to be a problem. 100% going to be a problem. At tight end, I'm not sure who he's actually going to be starting here, because you have Morris, 6'3", sure hands, only 75 speed though, or you have your freshman James Napier, only 6'1", but 85 speed. So I'd probably still go with that, but we'll see what Southern Miss decides to do. Defensively, we'll take a quick look at this here as well. Left edge, Jamon Tap, pocket disruptor, duress, grip breaker. Right edge, we got nothing. Okay. Pretty solid group of D tackles, more workhorses. We just see that everywhere on D tackles. Raylan Wilson, hello sirs, the Sam linebacker, 91 overall, 89 speed, takedown, blow up, and hammer. Holy cow, we have got quite the squad building up here at Southern Miss. Now the Mike linebackers, I probably wouldn't be playing any of these guys. They're just all a little too slow for me personally. I'm not sure what Southern Miss will do. They are in the 3-3-5 tight defense. They are in the Auburn offense, which is one I'm not super familiar with. We have used it in our campus tour series when we used Auburn, and I really like the run game out of there, so it makes sense for Southern Miss to do that. We know he likes to run the ball. Let's take a look at his cornerbacks quick. My goodness. Platinum layout, house call, and bouncer. 6'4", 95 speed, DJ Pickett. Somebody cleared up in the transfer portal, I think. I think this is a transfer guy. That's insane. 6'4", 95 speed with those abilities on a sophomore. Holy cow. Our guy Zoned, he knows what he's doing when it comes to putting together these teams, because this is a very impressive squad he's working with. I'm surprised it's only an 81 overall, to be honest. Both of his starting safeties are 94 overalls, or playing up to 94 overalls, with Bray Hubbard, Isaac Smith, His corners are super fast. Really not a lot of weaknesses we're seeing on this Southern Miss team on the defense or the offense. The only thing really is maybe a few more D-line abilities, but other than that, it's a really good-looking team. Let's go check out James Madison, see how they are going. I know he got back Barnett, his starting quarterback, and Petaway, his starting halfback, which those guys gave us a lot of trouble last year. We're expecting them to continue giving people trouble. Barnett, downhill, extender, option king, dot, mobile resistance, 89 overall, 89 speed, 93 excel. Yeah, that's a guy we're going to have to worry about. And then, guess what? Barnett's going to be gone. Here's the next one. Cam Dyer, redshirt freshman, magician, option king, shifty, sidestep, and workhorse. So yeah, James Madison is set up for the future, it looks like. Then at halfback, of course, is George Petaway, shifty, sidestep, 360, armbar, 92 speed, 93 excel, 91 overall. So we saw a really good backfield of Southern Miss, and I actually think James Madison's is set up a little bit better just because he was able to get both of these guys back. And, you know, they're an 89 and 91 overall. That's pretty disgusting. But where Southern Miss has the advantage is going to be, for sure, the wide receiver room. Ellis is wide receiver 1 for JMU, 75 overall, 89 speed. We've got an 85 overall, 87 speed Isaiah Alston, 6'4", another platinum 50-50. So we got one on each side. We'll see if one's going to take more advantage of that than the other. And I just noticed he's also an 81 overall team, but more balanced, 81 offense and an 81 defense. A little bit of speed here at wide receiver 3 with Braden Wazlowski, platinum 360, double dip and sidestep, another 90 speed here with Kyrie Barber and a sidestep. So still a very solid top 4 for wide receiver. It's just hard to compare to that Southern Miss group that we just saw. But another place where we see a pretty solid advantage here for JMU is going to be at tight end, 78 overall, 87 speed, 6'4". Going to be a very difficult guy for Southern Miss to guard. So having those fast linebackers can come in so handy because these tight ends, everybody's going to have a super fast tight end at some point. We know everybody will. We got one. I'm expecting more and more people to get one. We'll check offensive line really fast. We're not expecting to see anything super crazy. I mean, solid though, 82 to 84 overall, kind of across the board. Defensively, we've got a takedown on Gobera, our starting left edge, our starting right edge. We have a knockout. Oh, that's a will linebacker. That makes sense. So nothing on our right edge, anything on our D tackles, just workhorses. Okay, and we've got a center over here. Sure, why the heck not? Linebacker though. Now we're talking. Now you're winning me back. Ken Willis, house call, robber, 88 speed. And he is in the 3-2-6 defense in the Pittsburgh offense. We know JMU does enjoy his RPOs. We'll see how much he tries to take advantage of that throughout this game. But definitely something you have to worry about if you're playing defense against a Supersonic. These linebackers, man. Knockout, house call, robber, 90 speed, Zaquan Bryan. And even an 83 speed knockout. So 3 very good linebackers. You could run any type of defense you really want if you got linebackers like that. It's a reason we're going after so many linebackers, so we can kind of mix and match our defense a little bit. But whoa. Hold on a second, JMU. We saw Southern Miss had quite the secondary, and JMU is kind of answering that and raising them one here. 90, playing up to a 96 overall. He is a 94. Ashton Stamps, platinum blanket coverage, platinum jammer, house call, ball hawk, knockout. Jeremiah Wilson, jammer, blanket coverage, layout, wrap up, and a quick jump. Okay, now the 3-2-6 makes a lot more sense now looking at this cornerback room. Holy cow. And they've all got jammer. At least his top 3. Let's see. And then how about your 4th corner having platinum robber and blanket coverage and then a house call on your 5th? So I'm curious to see if James Madison is going to be running more man defense, just considering we have a gold jammer, a silver jammer, a platinum jammer, all on your top 3. I think you run a lot of press man if I'm seeing your abilities like this. That's kind of what I'm expecting the Dukes to do. We'll see what they end up doing, but what a cornerback room. And another fantastic safety here, Tao Johnson, aftershock and blow up. What I'm guessing he has and why Culp is in this spot is Johnson might be a sub linebacker and Culp is actually starting free safety. We'll check his sub linebackers and see about that. Miles Davis. We had a Miles Davis who's actually our defending Heisman Trophy winner, but he was the running back for Utah State. Now we have another Miles Davis, the strong safety for James Madison. House call, robber, 93 speed. I think you keep him up top. Let's see what he does with his sub linebackers. If it's that free safety, No, he keeps, I mean, that makes sense too when you got linebackers like this. You got the 90 speed, the 88 speed, just keep those guys on the field. I don't hate that at all. I mean, this secondary of James Madison, holy cow. So we know the quarterback's a threat. We know the halfback's a threat. The receiver room, I don't think we worry about a whole heck of a lot if we're Southern Miss. But between both of these teams, I'm not sure how either one of these guys are going to be managed to throw the ball. I mean, both those secondaries are unreal. The linebackers, very, very good on both squads. So it'll be interesting to see where the advantage lies when the game actually starts. We can check the season stats of these teams really, really fast here as well. We'll do Southern Miss first, because I did already look at these really quick, and there's something on James Madison that kind of made me laugh, so I'm going to share that. Southern Miss, Mr. Taylor, 60 for 83, 2 touchdowns. This is a concern, though, seeing the 6 interceptions through 3 games played and 3 with the backup. But I do believe Southern Miss had only played 3 games against the computers so far. There might have been 1 user game in there, but against the computer, you just chuck stuff up and see what happens. Maybe he was testing his 50-50. I don't know. I'm not reading a ton into those interceptions at this point in the season. Rushing-wise, we see Briggs, of course, the leading rusher, but right behind him, the quarterback, Taylor. We got to watch out for that if we are James Madison, both with 3 rushes of 20-plus yards combined for 7 touchdowns. It's the rushing game of Southern Miss. Receiving-wise, Mbakwe is definitely the big play guy, as we would expect with him being 97 speed, 16 catches, 306 yards, 19-yard average, 2 touchdowns, 102 yards a game. We just can't let this guy kill us over the top. And I'm not sure... I think he does quite a bit of RPOs, so that's another thing we're going to have to... This might be a battle of RPOs, which isn't the worst idea when we're going against secondaries like we saw both of these teams have. His halfback Briggs, 27 catches, leads the team there, 217 yards, taking his checkdowns, taking easy yards, and Chapman with 12 for 120. So for Southern Miss... If we were playing defense against them, it would be kind of similar to what we did against Louisiana. Just making sure we're having contains, some QB spies thrown in there as well. Just making sure he's not popping any big runs with that quarterback or the halfback. So I don't think I would change like much of the RPO settings, because he's kind of more of a dual. You got to kind of worry about both. Whereas Louisiana, we were just the quarterback was not going to beat us. That was our only concern. Southern Miss, you do have to worry about both a little bit more, so that puts you in a little bit of a trickier spot. But here's the thing I wanted to show about James Madison. Barnett, only 2 games this season, but is 21 for 21, 100% completion percentage. I know you can't see that first 21 because my little pumpkins are in the way. But 100% completion percentage through 2 games, which does lead me to believe this could be a lot of RPOs. You know, those quick checkdowns, quick throws to the flats, those kind of things, but still unbelievable to be at 100% even if it's only 2 games. That's an impressive stuff. Rushing wise, Petaway, 21 for 138. I was curious to see, because remember last year JMU had Sluka, the backup quarterback. He would sub in for quarterback runs. Does look like he is willing to do something similar here with Cameron Dyer, because he's in with 8 rushes for 16 yards, and we have 0 rushes for his actual starting quarterback, Barnett. So this is kind of like what we saw last week too with Texas State. They would sub in House Henney, number 4 at quarterback, and be running some read options and things. If number 12 comes in at quarterback for JMU, should be some alerts going off. Watch that quarterback run. Receiving wise, Weslowski, the speedster, the only one with double-digit catches, 262 yards, 4 touchdowns. And I know JMU had at least 1 user game already, starting off 2-0. I mean, how exciting. Week 3, we got number 21 against number 20. Who's going to set themselves up potentially for a good push to the playoffs? Let's just get to the game. Let's get to Harrisonburg. Let's go find out. And we are ready to get underway here in Harrisonburg. I do want to note a couple things before we actually get into the game here. Southern Miss did change their playbook right before kickoff. They will no longer be in Auburn. They will be in the Tennessee veer and shoot offense. And what was the second thing? Oh, this is not being, commentary is not live. This game did happen already, but I tried to avoid seeing who won, seeing what happened. I just checked a couple times to make sure the recording was still going. So we'll see how that change in playbook is going to work out for Southern Miss. Personally, how I like to do the veer and shoot, I don't like to take it on the road in a hostile environment because I like to have audible around. I like to hot route around, and it makes things a little difficult. So we got double mug Tampa 2 look here for the Golden Eagles, using the hook, goes right underneath the cloud flat there. Nice little pass to old Braden Wazlowski, the team's leading receiver. We expect to call his name quite a bit. JMU in some different uniforms here today. Usually they do rock the all black. Today going with a Washington Husky look. But personally, I love purple uniforms, so I think purple is going to look nicer. Staying in the Tampa 2, little run there to George Pettaway, finds just enough space up the middle, gets the first down. James Madison moving early here. Let's see what we're changing. We're going conservative. Conservative across the board. Interesting. So they're essentially saying, we don't want you to be running with that quarterback, because that's exactly what we did against Louisiana in our user game last time. So now we are, looks like, in some nickel mint, keeping everything kind of steady. There is, of course, some RPO action for James Madison. Find their guy, Braden. I mean, kind of what we expected from James Madison here so far. Take the easy ones to the flats. Get those RPOs going, get those runs going. Nothing too surprising at this point. Looks like another cover 3, then go into the screen game. Again, keep it easy, get it to your guys, get it to your playmakers. What a disgusting stiff arm there from Pettaway. Just get off me, buddy. I am going to keep moving down this field. A 2nd and 2 now for James Madison. Coming out in some bunch wide. You would think I would remember more about what James Madison likes to do, but I really don't. And there goes the quarterback draw up the middle, picking up the first down. I mean, we played them twice last season, and I don't remember a whole heck of a lot. We know he likes the RPOs, but against us, he intentionally didn't do so many RPOs, so it makes it kind of interesting. So little trip sack's nasty now. He is hot routing. I was wondering maybe that was a fake hot route. Goes for the Texas, goes for the underneath to Ellis, and we got some technical difficulties here, folks. Bear with me 1 second. And we're back. Looks like we did miss a little Pettaway run there to set up a 1st and 10 down at the 18. Not entirely sure what happened there, but what matters is we're back on track. James Madison threatening here early. A little motion there coming from the right to the left. Barnett conducting the offense. Another little RPO. Those RPO streaks are so difficult to stop, but that one gets knocked out. 2nd and 10 now for the Dukes. Coming back out in bunch wide. Last time now this was the quarterback run. I would be surprised if that's what it is again. An RPO wouldn't surprise me. Some match coverage here from Southern Miss. We've seen that quite a few times. And again, just taking that underneath. That's what we got to start focusing on now if we're Southern Miss. That's 3 or 4 times now we've seen James Madison dropping back to pass and just taking quick underneath routes. So we got to be shading underneath. We got to be getting our hooks on 5, which shading underneath does. You don't actually need to go into coach adjustments anymore to do that. Let's see if we're going to get a shade underneath here out of this Tampa 2. Doesn't look like it. Still got cloud flats out there. That's the easiest way to tell if it's cloud flats or hard flats. Hard flats would be shaded underneath. Nope, stays, keeps everybody default there on the 3rd and 2. Give it back to Pettaway right up the middle. Picks up the first down. 1st and goal now. James Madison putting pressure on the Southern Miss defense early. Doubles Y off. Is there an RPO in this? There might be a tight end RPO. We got a little motion, fake jet, or a jet power read maybe. More quarterback runs. See, those coach adjustments are starting to make sense. Going all conservative, make sure that quarterback can't kill you. I'll be curious to see if JMU ever puts in that backup quarterback, Cam Dyer. So we saw he had a few rush attempts on the season. This is going to be Pettaway. Great user play to fly in there and make that tackle. Pushes them back to a 3rd and goal here at the 3. I'm guessing Southern Miss is coming out in that Tampa 2 here again. Really got a shade underneath down here. Really have to, and he is not. We can still see cloud flats on those outside corners. Those hooks are going to be dropping back really far. We'll have underneath. The cloud flat's going to kind of drop back. Everybody kind of drops back. Finds a little delayed slant route. JMU on their opening drive takes 3.5 minutes. Slow, methodical, right down the field. Touchdown, Dukes. Now our first look at the Golden Eagles and the Tennessee offense. Let's see what they are going to be coming out in. Some wide bunch. Again, this is just going to be sprinkled with my personal opinions on running the veer and shoot. But bunch I personally only really like for the RPO. He's got 3 guys over there, so we can't do the RPO. He's got a ton of people in the box. We can't really run it. That actually almost worked out beautifully. We were able to just cut that right just inside. We might have been able to house one there. And we do want to kind of pay attention to what James Madison is doing on defense. He said we saw how good that secondary is, that a lot of man wouldn't shock me. A lot of press man specifically, because he's got the 3 jammers out there in the secondary. Looks like he is in potentially some 3-2-6. A little read option coming for Southern Miss. Gotta hand it off. Yep. I mean, we're getting close. Both of those runs were not far off from being home run shots for Southern Miss. So we liked what we see out of there. Now going to a little wide slot right. This one I'm not going to have a whole lot to offer on because I don't really run the slot right, slot left formations nearly as much. Going with a halfback swing out to the right with a backside post. Got to go with a swing and then hope you guys hold those blocks. Again, 3 plays, 3 very close calls for Robert Briggs to potentially get an early house call here against James Madison and tie this one back up. That's having that speed on that corner. He's able to answer back and get back in there. See, yeah, we're playing press across the board. B cooked him. Bad ball by the quarterback. Oh, we saw that the exact same. We saw B get by that corner. He had room there. A better throw. That is a touchdown. Kamario Taylor kind of selling out Southern Miss, and our guys zoned on that one. That should have been a touchdown. Now we're staying in the slot right, and we saw he did just make a change to potentially bring in his backup quarterback on the next play. The screen gets sniffed out by JMU, though. 3rd and 12, and we will have the backup quarterback for Southern Miss, whose name I actually did not write down, so hopefully we can see what that is at some point. Some point here. How are we going to get the 12 yards out of this? Little bunch quads open? Okay. I mean, I don't hate the idea of it. Let's see what their defense is looking like. Too many guys over there to be able to throw the screen successfully. Pressing across the board again. We gotta see maybe X can burn his guy quick. We'll look over on the left. He does not. Maybe A, pressure, dropped back a little too far. See, this is the nice thing of actually recording this. We can actually go back for a second. So I think what happened here, we're going to have Contains on the defensive line. Then Robinson, that's the backup quarterback. I'm going to forget it, but I know it for now. I think he just steps back a little bit too far, and the Contain actually kind of just works his way right around. Yep. Got to step up into the pocket there. I didn't really see a whole heck of a lot open against this JMU secondary anyway, but Southern Miss will be punting it away. JMU taken back over. Honestly, my main focus now on this defense would be you're not checking it down underneath anymore. We're shading underneath. We're getting hard flats. We're getting 5-yard hooks, and we'll use or anything deeper than that. Going back to the RPO, another plus of having hard flats. They'll stick with that a little bit better. And Wazlowski, I believe he was the one with Platinum 360, and he was showing it off there. Already 3 for 41 here in the first quarter. And all of them just caught at the line of scrimmage, just getting out there and making people miss. Now we're going back to a cover 3. Was this a match? I didn't see what those purple zones were. See if he zooms out one more time, we'll be able to see. He does not. Going to screen to the left. I mean, the user did a good job flying out there in time, but that pet away, another 360, spins his way around, still able to get some yards there for James Madison. So we really got to be taking away those quick, easy ones. That's really, we're staying in the Tampa 2 and not shading down, so everybody's going to be backing up. Gets the user out of the way with that drag, moves the user over to the right, opens up the Texas route from the halfback right behind him. Easy peasy, first down JMU, end of the first. And from the pieces of this game I did see, that's going to be kind of a common thing we're going to see throughout this game. As JMU does a very good job of putting your user in a tough spot. If you're going to follow that drag, then there's a backside route right behind it. If you're going to just stick on the backside route, the drag's going to be open. You really got to get a switch stick or just kind of try to fake them out a little bit. Because I know we got another one coming. I'll try to give an example of what I'm talking about here. But Southern Miss on defense, trying out a few different formations, trying out a few different things, going back to some nickel over. And what play is this? Cover 3, buzz match. I always get them confused. There's a buzz match and a buzz Mabel. Either way, there goes Petaway right through the left side. Easy gain, 4 for 25. Petaway doing damage both in the passing game and the rushing game. Kind of not a huge shock there. Going back to Tampa 2, we got to shade underneath. At some point, we got to shade underneath. Wouldn't have mattered on that. And we saw Southern Miss put his defensive stuff on conservative. Like for the RPO, conservative, play the pass. Didn't matter at all there. They all come flying down. Leaves that seam streak on the left. JMU quickly in for another score. 14-0 lead. Gosh, this Duke's offense. It's something, man. So now we're heading into some wide trips. And honestly, I don't even know what the best thing to do against a secondary like James Madison. When they're just running press man and the guys are better and faster than your receivers, it's always going to be a tough time. So I really having that missed throw was brutal by Taylor. We'll see, maybe Robinson can spark this Eagles offense here a little bit. Yeah, routes, oh, okay, we audible back out of it. But even this, routes like A is on. I like those deeper crossers. Give you guys some room to try to win. But kind of those deep, almost in routes, but it's curved. If you know what I'm talking about, when it breaks to the left. Like in Hawaii's divide plays, they get that little like speed boost when they turn to the left. We got to be looking at things like that. Maybe some posts, corner routes, this screen over to the right. Screen over to the right. Oh, maybe that wasn't. Maybe that was just an inside zone. Because I think double stack is one of those formations where it looks like an RPO, but it's actually not. It's actually a run, and that's confused me many times. We're going back to another running back screen here, trying to slip out. And they actually did a good job picking up his user, picking up all the blocks. The ball just sails past his running back. I feel like, I mean, JMU's defender did get in the way there a little bit, but I feel like Southern Miss has gotten pretty unlucky here on offense so far. And JMU, again, only rushing 3. That is a thing they like to do. Just chuck one deep. Was that our 50-50 guy? No, that's not Burton, is it? I don't think so. I think that's Highkeep and Williams is the 50-50 on Southern Miss. Goes for the deep one-on-one shot. You don't hate it in that situation. You got to do something. Unfortunately, ball just falls incomplete. James Madison taken back over. Whoa, kind of a cheap shot there. We really got to start shading our defense underneath here. If we're going to be staying in zone, which I don't hate. I call zone all the time. I hardly ever call man-to-man. But we have to be canceling match and shading underneath. See, we still got cloud flats out there. Everybody's going to be dropping back so far. If this is a pass, he's going to have some room. We got him to a loss of 1 there. It was a good job at the cloud flat coming down on that. Pickett makes a good play on Braden Wazlowski to keep that to a minimal gain. Let's see. We're going, is this another Tampa 2? It is. And just those cloud flats, they're going to be giving that up every single time. We really got to be shading underneath here on defense with how this game has gone. With what we're seeing out of James Madison on offense. We can't keep giving up those easy ones. And I really don't like match against, cover 3 match against Bunch. And it just leaves the halfback. Keeps giving them the easy ones, right? That was a 3rd and 6. It's just a little curl route. If we're shaded underneath and that's a 5-yard hook, he's right there to potentially defend that. There's no guarantees with defense this year that you actually will. So this is just a base cover 3, not a match. It is just going to be another run. Good job by big boy number 90 getting in there, bringing Petaway down after only a gain of 2. But yeah, we got to see some shading underneath here at some point. So we're again just in a base cover 3 and not shading anywhere, going for another screen out to the left. Another thing, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, I might have. But another thing hard flats are good for is helping out on screens. Hard flats and contains, which if we're setting the defensive settings we did set here. And again, Tampa 2, just stock standard Tampa 2. And the same exact thing. The drag, which the Tampa 2 is good for that specific play, but without shading them underneath or setting our hooks, they just drop back a little bit too far. Easy completion to the halfback. But yeah, hard flats and contains, which considering the defensive settings we set here with Southern Miss, we are concerned about that quarterback running. I'm surprised we're not seeing more contains as there goes Allen. Michael Allen takes a nice little chunk of 14 there, setting JMU back up in scoring range in the blink of an eye, it feels like. But it's been a death by 1,000 paper cuts. They're just taking underneath. They're taking what they give you. And we got numbers over here to the right. Yep. Everybody has to drop back to follow the deeper routes. Leaves the underneath wide open. Yep. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but we really got to see a shade underneath out of one of these Tampa 2s. Watch this RPO. Get on the other hook and watch it if this is an RPO streak to number 8. That's what he's done a few times. And your other guy's just not going to be in a position to actually get out there and play it. He had it. He had it. Here, this is one I'll rewind here. But saying this guy's on a hook, right? You're on a hook here. He's run this same play a couple times. This guy motions over. streak, RPO. We got to get on this hook because there's just no chance, even with whatever settings we got, he is not going to drop back here to play this. So we got to get here and try to bait him into throwing this and try to undercut it. Is what we got to try to do. But he snaps this and it looks like he actually has it. But decides to keep it as a run anyway. 2nd and 12 now. I believe we'll just take this to the 2-minute warning, if I had to guess. And indeed we do. Now a little cover 3 match, which against a 2x2 I don't hate. You just are going to have to make sure to keep an eye on that halfback. Yeah, good. But then that's the problem. That's what we said last time too. Especially if you're playing something like match. They don't like the drags. They don't like the Texas routes. It just leaves your user a little too much to do. But if we were shaded underneath and had a hard flat on that side instead of match coverage, would have been there. Might have been able to take that away. So we're staying in the double mug. Motions that guy in. Okay. I mean, I was expecting a run there, honestly. Got to stay on that. And oh, that's that same one he got us with earlier. That little delayed drag route, or not drag route, like a delayed slant coming from the left. Gets him again. Gets JMU on the board again. 21-0. Let's see if Southern Miss can get something going here before half. As we continue exploring the depths of the Tennessee playbook. So we got 2 tight ends set here. Going for something deep. Got to be to RB or whoever that was, B over on the right. Yeah, see, neither of them really won on that. And stamps. This JMU secondary is preposterous. I don't know what the heck. I'm trying to think what we would like to see Southern Miss do on offense. I know what I want to see him start doing on defense. I've mentioned it 1,000 times. But when we're on offense with Southern Miss, I feel like the veer and shoot is kind of dead. Against a defense like this, it goes with a motion toss out to the right. Heck of a job by number 18 getting out there to make a tackle. But yeah, I just think the veer and shoot, specifically against how JMU is playing defense, is going to be very, very difficult. And the few chances we've had, he's gotten very unlucky on. We should have had a touchdown on that streak. The screen looked like it was set up pretty well. So there's been a few instances where Southern Miss has had opportunities, and unfortunately just wasn't able to take advantage of them. Okay, I see contains here. I like that. He's motioning him around, trying to see what kind of defense he's in. And then he's going to have the backside. See, that's exactly what we were saying earlier. I'm not going to do this too much, but again, we are going to back this up. But this is the exact same setup we've seen JMU do a few times, where he's going to have something bringing your user over to the left, and then he's going to hit the backside. So what we have to do here, ideally in a perfect world, we can kind of fake him out, where it looks like we're going to the drag, and then we can get back to the right quick enough. This one's tough, because this is spaced out really far. But the other thing we could do is actually user over here, so we can try to watch this drag, and then potentially switch stick back over to Graham. But what I'd be doing, I would be trying, follow this until it gets to about the hash mark, follow the drag, and then just try to fly back out to the right and undercut it. Against this specific play, though, it'd be tough. See, we're just getting so far inside there. I'll back up for a second here again. But we're just getting so far inside here. And I don't think you need to be. Oh, see, it must have been a match, though, because then this hook flies up this way. So I was going to say, you have another hook here. We don't need to be all the way over here, but if it's a match coverage, he's following that. That just leaves way too much space over the middle. Yeah, that had to have been match. Which in that instance, that play's just going to kill match. I mean, it had to be, right? I know, I'm doing this again. I just saw, because it depends what the purple zones are once the audible's here. Oh no, it's not a match. Curl flats. But again, this was shading underneath or putting your hook zones on would stop him from following this far too. Just throwing some ideas out there. But I mean, it certainly looked like match with how far he gets out of position here. Like he turns and runs. He runs 20 yards back. But if we were able to have a 5-yard hook right here, then we can just follow that to about the hash mark. We can fly back to the right. Have some Y off trips week. Again, we got to watch an RPO over to the left. Got to watch the run. Good job blowing up that run. Now, time's ticking down. 40 seconds to go for JMU. Let's see how aggressive they want to get here before half. Really a field goal. I think it changes a little bit. Not a ton. It keeps it a 3-score game, but it's 3 and 2 extra points. Does that same play we did on 3rd and 8, or 3rd and 6, just take those quick little curl routes, move the ball 8 yards, set yourself up for a 3rd and 2, 21 seconds left. I mean, with 2 timeouts, you still got plenty of time. Like, time's not really a huge concern here if you're James Madison. So we're staying in a stock cover 3. Got to watch that seam on the... Ooh. I actually think we had that defended pretty well, but our big boy defensive tackle will just get up there himself anyway. That seam streak on the right. Concern when you're in cover 3. So we got to kind of have to follow that a little bit. Now it's a bunch wide. What does he like to do out of here? Yeah, I like getting on Graham. Gotta watch the RPO. I've totally forgot they even have a QB blast out of there. Or QB run out of there. So that 100% would have got me too. Now 14 seconds, one more timeout. Now we're getting a little concerned about time. Still being 30 yards away. We either guys start attacking the sidelines or getting first downs. Anything short of a first down here is a pretty disastrous. And personally in cover 2, maybe you guys think differently, but I don't like using the mid-read. Just 'cause I feel like I leave that middle of the field so unbelievably wide open. I just get so out of position as the mid-read. Goes for the Texas route again. That time the hook actually does a very good job. Gets the knockout. 10 seconds remaining. Got to watch the Texas again. And he went for that little delayed slant. That time the boys stayed down on it. Keeps him short. 3rd and 4. JMU's going to have to take their last time out. Settle for a field goal here before half. 24-0. Very impressive performance here so far from the Dukes. I'm assuming he's going to make this kick. Would just be a guess. Did I jinx him? Almost, but nope. Kicks up, kicks good. 24-0. Let's find something here in the second half, Southern Miss. Let's put something together. Let's find something on offense for us to build on. Be coming out back in double stack, checking his blocking. Only 5 in the box, so we like that. Yeah. Oh, keeps it with the quarterback even, and there goes Taylor. Is that his first time today we've seen Taylor take off and run? It's been a mix of the 2 quarterbacks, so Taylor and Robinson. But I believe that's the first time we saw Taylor actually keep one and take off. Gets a nice 2nd and 2. I mean, I'd keep, spreading him out. He's got 5 in the box. Run the ball. To me, that's the veer and shoot. If you got the numbers in there that you can run it, then run it. If he starts getting 6 or more in the box, then we start looking at passes. But staying wide, that's why I love just calling wide or wide offset. Makes it, in my opinion, much, much easier to determine what you want to do. Now we got our numbers more to the left. Or you could even do a speed option. A little late pitch. Find your way through there. Go on, Briggs. Go on, Briggs. Nice little play there. If they're putting 6 in the box, try to attack them on the outside. I love that. I'd be staying in wide offset at this point if I'm Southern Miss. We've had pretty good success out of it here. There's a ton of people in the box here. You got to trust one of your guys. Mbakwe potentially to win on that streak. I'd chuck one up to him. But on the right side we go, and it looked like he had a step again in another underthrown ball. I think Chapman had him beat here again. He does. And the pass is just underthrown again. I'm telling you. I understand the score is what it is. Southern Miss has gotten some bad breaks here too. Watching this back. That's a few different times now. Chapman's burned his guy, had a potential touchdown. And the ball's just been underthrown. So now we got 5 in the box. We keep this as a run. If you had an inside zone, that'd be better, but I don't believe we do. Just let your blocks kind of set up. Ooh, Briggs can't release. Not the best spin move there from Robert Briggs. Just nothing against Southern Miss. That was just Briggs has a very slow spin move. I like the idea. Okay, so now we got 5 plus the 1 safety because we got 1-on-1 over on the left. But he just didn't win for a second. And again, we're just dropping back so far too. Those contains are actually able to get pressure. If we're just sitting in that pocket, I think we got a lot more time to hopefully. I mean, it sucks to say, but you feel like you're almost just waiting for a route bounce for somebody to get open. Because other than that, nobody's winning on anything. Maybe we need more drags, whip routes, things like those traditional man beaters to really have a chance. Deep post? Or you just get it to your 97 speed Mbakwe and what? What? That was a touchdown. He had 3 guys on him. I understand him making the catch for sure, but then he just body surfed on that one guy and found his way into the end zone. Hey, we'll take it however we can get it. The first catch for Mbakwe is a huge one. Southern Miss on the board here in the third. And we're going for 2 to make this a 2-score game. I don't hate the stick call. I don't hate this at all. Look for our out or A. No, nothing. Maybe B in that back right corner. But JMU just dropped everybody back into coverage. We just had nowhere to go on that one. JMU back on the attack. Another RPO, and it's there again for our guy, Braden Wazlowski, putting up stats. That's right, I was going to mention whenever JMU finally threw an incomplete pass, his first one of the season. He's 20 for 24 passing now with Barnett. Give it another run up the middle. We have got backup halfback Michael Allen in there now. Save the legs of George Pettaway. Understandable move by the Dukes here. A 3rd and 1. What are we going to go to? Just trust Michael Allen to get you a yard. A little motion out to the right. I'd say we got to watch the toss. Oh, it actually was. Oh, what a cutback by Allen. It looked like SMU was all over him. But that little cutback inside by Allen picks up a nice little chunk of change. Yeah, because that was the same formation. It threw me off because I could have sworn it was faster last time. Like the motion and then the snap was like right when he got behind that tight end. That one felt like it took a little longer, so that one confused me a little bit. Now in some 5-down sets for Southern Miss, which I don't hate. Again, though, I understand I've been saying it 1,000 times, and I sound like a broken record. We got to be shading underneath on defense. Have to do it. I don't hate mixing in some like send blitzes or something here, but if we're going to be calling Tampa 2, I don't like cover 4. But if we're calling cover 4, any zone coverage, I'm shading underneath every single play. For that exact reason. Get a hard flat out there to try to stop these RPOs because he's just nickel and diming you to death here. First catch for Kordovich of the day, the 87? Something like that. A really good tight end for JMU. Now we're going back to 4 down. Another cover 3. Going back to the RPO. Good. User got out there nice. Took that away. Forced him right into some help defense. Kept him to a gain of 3. Because, yeah, if we're not putting hard flats out there, we have to get out there to watch those RPOs to that side. Only chance we got. Audibling around. Going, looks like back to a cover 3. We definitely need multiple hooks in the middle of the field, so I wouldn't be doing any cover 4, cover 3, cover 2, things like that. That's really been some of the main. I like the cover 3, like Buzz Match. I think would be a good defense against what JMU's been doing. But again, shaded underneath, I think is kind of the big factor that we're missing here. Because I think the best thing for RPO. So this was a QB run last time out of bunch wide, wasn't it, or was it something else? Maybe it was something else. Oh, it's the double curls. Yep. Because for me, defending the RPO, I love to have the hard flats coming from a slot, not from our outside guy, because that's the guy that gets blocked all the time. Or if we have it on the slot, he has a better chance of actually getting out there and making a play. The motion back over again, just our bug standard Tampa 2 defense from Southern Miss. Something underneath here again. Or the RPO streak. Gosh, that play is frustrating. It's like, against that formation, do we just have to user that hook on the left? I guess so. Because he just keeps biting down on it. Now we're back in bunch wide. Oh, see. Get on the other hook. Get on the other hook. I'm just so in my head about this being an RPO with a streak. And it was a streak on both sides. I mean, I don't know what the heck you do against that. Man coverage. But I don't know. Having that streak on both sides is just diabolical. Well, it certainly looks like JMU is going to be able to walk away here with the win and in a fast track for a playoff spot. I think eventually we're going to be able to get multiple teams in the playoffs. It might even be this year, which that would be kind of fun. You know, the purpose wasn't really about making the playoffs when we started this, because we used all group of 5 teams that were all not very good. So if people do, that's a fun little bonus. So now Southern Miss trying to set a few things up. It takes a delay of game penalty. Let's see what formation. I mean, I'd be staying in wide and wide offset has been our best bet. Really spreading that defense out. I mean, you're keeping this as a run. Yep. Oh, we got to cut that out to the left. Yeah, we're getting the numbers advantage on a few of these. But I think I like audibling out of the RPO into just an inside zone so we can hit that run a little bit quicker. Like anytime, like right now, when we've got 5 in the box, we're running that, and that's just an unfortunate shed there by number 97. Being able to get back to the middle there and make that play. Yeah, I struggle out a wide bunch, but I'm also not a veer and shoot expert, so there we are. But another 3rd and 8. We got, again, 5 in the box, but just what can we really do? More pressure coming in from the right. Nice find to Mbakwe there. Picks up the 1st down. We're really just looking for signs. It sounds rude, but we're looking for signs of life from this Southern Miss offense. We're trying to just find something repeatable, something we can keep going to if we're going to stay in this Tennessee offense. See, I don't like the speed option against 5 in the box. We run it to the left side, and yeah, they were just kind of all over that. The end was able to stay out there. Yeah, I think the speed option's nice if you have, 6+ in the box, but against 5, not a huge fan of it. I feel like we're just giving up. Oh, see, that A route's kind of what I was talking about earlier, but it's his tight end, so I'm not sure he's going to get open on this anyway. But when he gets to the top there and makes that break, he gets a good speed burst on that. It's just that tight end is very slow. So it didn't look like much. But I promise you, on those kind of routes, once they break inside, they get a good speed burst on it. But yeah, it does look like quite a bit of press man. There might be some match and stuff mixed in here from JMU. But I think we're seeing a lot of man coverage. So we're motioning our tight end in. Ooh, a little slot fade. But from that spot, that's interesting. Let's see if that gets open. Maybe if it wasn't your tight end. Yeah, just chuck one up to Y. See if Mbakwe can go make a play. At this point, why the heck not? I really like that idea of the slot fade motioned into the backfield. I just think with it being Morris, it's going to have a tough time. I mean, I would just put a straight up post on RB. Again, we're just backing up so far. It's going to be so difficult. Yeah, turnover on downs. 35-yard line for JMU. A 25-point lead. About to enter the 4th quarter. I think this one is just about wrapped up. And I don't really have any other games or highlights we can really swap to at this point. These guys played pretty quickly after the advance, which is always nice and always appreciated. But then if games like this happen, kind of leaves us in a tough spot. And is that third? That is no, I was looking at the wrong sheet. Rodney Fields Jr., the 3rd string running back for James Madison, getting in on the action, taking us to the 4th quarter. Yeah, if I'm Southern Miss at this point, we're just taking this time to experiment, try different things, and see what we like. On offense and on defense. We got to be trying something here. So yeah, mix in some zone blitzes, mix in some man. Try shading different ways, perhaps. I don't know if I've mentioned that one yet. But just try out some different stuff. See what might stick around for next week. So even this, feels like garbage time. It is kind of garbage time, but it's a prime time to experiment and see what you like. So here's a little cover 6. So you're going to be match, you're going to be on Clemens. You got to watch anybody coming inside here. Well, it's just a run anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And what a gap for Fields Jr. Just strolls on into the end zone. No big deal. 38-6. We will stick with this for a little bit longer because we do have one more touchdown. I just pulled up the final score over here to see if we were going to miss anything. And we do got one more touchdown coming up here. So let's just stick with it until we see that. Hey, we are in a bit of a different formation here, going with the run, trying to get our way outside there with Briggs, get some stats for our guy. What formation? Oh, yeah. I mean, this is not a bad time at all to try out some coach suggestions either. If, just try out some different stuff. Prime time for it. Little read flat. He's been in auto man. I really like this. I think Y's going to be open. He was. Y was very open on that. Now we're going a little hurry up back to some wide slot. Just going with halfback. Little halfback run here. We got good numbers for it. Got really good numbers for it. Just hold those blocks, boys, and go on, Briggs. Okay. See, we're getting something going here. We're finding little things that we like. That RPO flat going across the formation was nice. That's always going to be pretty good against man. Let's see what we're coming out in here. X under. If we had a faster tight end, I'd love this. See, that was a little zone there. Try to find some room with Taylor. And then he does mix in some zone every once in a while. Counts as a sack for JMU. 38-6 still. 4:14 to go. Yeah, RPO is definitely not going to be there. Going to the left. A deep choice. Okay. Let's see what we got. Had the curl route, but you really got to make that read quick. Okay. You were finding something. He's dropping everybody back so far that there's room for your quarterback to go. I like it. Now we're coming back out in the slot, coming back out in the run, which this, of course, changes our numbers because now we have a tight end back there as well. So even if he's got 6, keep that as a run. Find your gap with Briggs. Very nice. Now we're back and wide. I love this. This is where we've had our best success so far. He's got 5 in the box, inside zone, or yeah, see, I don't like the base runs out of there nearly as much. I don't know what it is. It just seems like the guy gets in your own way a lot versus just an inside zone. But we had the numbers there, so running the ball was the right choice. It just didn't pan out. Really, I mean, maybe this game could have been different if Southern Miss hit on their 2 bombs that were open. Love the quarterback. Oh, man, these sheds. Again, good call. Have the numbers. That should work. Very unlucky shed by the nose tackle of JMU there. And even here, I wouldn't hate a run. Or a deep shot to Mbakwe. Yeah, it looks like he might even be shading. Oh, it was a late deep shot. Good click on to get down underneath that. Very good. Love to see that. Yeah, I wonder how JMU is shading their coverage. It looks to be inside. Because Mbakwe did not win on that route right away. He was 100% bagged on that. But eventually it kind of got there. So second and goal now at the 2. Let's see if we can at least get Briggs in or something for a touchdown. Maybe a QB run. We've had pretty good luck with that. But we got to try to figure something out here. I mean, even another flat RPO. I mean, a slant on Y. Hey, I like the looks of that. You got it. See, we're on the same page there, Zoned. Nice. We see that one-on-one out there. We see what looks to be no safety help or no help from anybody, no linebackers, no nothing. Get that slant on there, gets the inside win, gets on the board, 38-13, and that is going to be our final score. So we can go ahead and pause this now. I think JMU just runs out the rest of the clock. So here we are. We can take a look at the box score, see some different things. Of course, as we would imagine, JMU did kind of dominate total offense, 387 to 180. Yards per play, I mean, 5 yards per play, not great, but not the worst. 20 rushes for 104 is nice. It's the 5 for 15 passing. That's going to kill you. And really, I mean, the big takeaway for me is Southern Miss on defense. It almost seemed, again, I don't mean this to be rude or insulting in any way, but he almost just seemed to be kind of stuck. And this is just what I do. Is with I'm going to call this Tampa 2. We're not going to do anything different. With what he was doing, we have to change something. If he's just hitting those constant RPOs and little dinks and dunks over the middle, we need to be guarding that. We need to be shading underneath. We need to be getting our hard flats out there. We need our hooks to be playing down. Something to take those away, especially after the first few times. Make them look somewhere else. Just change a little bit of what we're doing, because I think you were just being a little too predictable there on defense, and JMU was able to take advantage of that as Barnett goes another 22 for 27, his first 5 incompletions on the year. So that puts him at 43 for 48, because I'm pretty sure he was 21 for 21 heading into this game. A perfect 5 for 5 for Dyer. I didn't even notice him in the game. Maybe he comes in right at the end. Rushing-wise, Fields Jr., the backup, actually the third string for JMU, leads the way with 9 for 62. Allen 7 for 28. Petaway only 5 for 27, but I think he did a lot of his damage in the receiving game. He had 8 for 64. Wazlowski, who I think these might have all been RPOs. I think these were all caught at the line of scrimmage for the most part. Looks like all but 33 yards if my quick math is correct there. Same with Petaway, 50 yards after the catch, 64 total yards. So again, that kind of goes to what we were saying. If we're Southern Miss on defense, just some things to consider is being able to mix things up a little bit. And offensively, I mean, like I said, we got unlucky there a couple times. We had 2 potential deep shot touchdowns that just the quarterback missed. But just overall, there's not a ton we're going to be able to do in the veer and shoot against a secondary like we saw JMU has. So that is it for our game of the week for week 3. We will be back soon for our user game in week 3. Speaking of the veer and shoot, we will be going up against the veer and shoot. Now, we don't quite have the same secondary that JMU does, so I don't think we'll be able to run quite as much man coverage, but hopefully we'll be able to figure some things out. Then we'll have a game of the week for week 4. We are on bye on week 4, so we will not have a user game in that. For week 5, I will not be in town. So maybe I'll be able to do a retroactive game of the week. I'm not really entirely sure. And our user game against Delaware is unfortunately going to have to be a force win for the Delaware Blue Hens. But yeah, so that's what we got coming up. Hope you guys have been enjoying these little games of the week. I have a ton of fun making these and watching how all these guys play. I'm having a blast doing it, so I'm hoping you guys are enjoying watching it too. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, take it easy.